Okay, so SQL like operator. Okay, so think of it like this way. If I ask you, okay, let's go to our data. So in this data, if I ask you in the customer data full, what are the names that we have that are starting with A? Okay, so if I ask you, give me all the names that are starting with A. Okay, so in this kind of patterns, we use the like operator. Okay, we use like to get this kind of problems done. Okay, now if I go a little bit below, here you will see that the what like operator does. So if you say that where the customer name is like A, and then if you put a percentage, what it means that it will find any values that starts with A. Okay, so let's try to do that. What I'm going to do is, first I will do select all from, let's say, the customers data. So I will just copy it from here. I will paste it. So select all from customers data, and I will write where I want the contact name. So I will just write contact name there. So where the contact name, now I will put like. So as you can see, I'm writing these things like in caps. So I mean, this is not necessary, right? So you don't need to write like this. You can write it like this as well. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so what I'm doing is where contact name is like what. So as I can say that it should start with A. So if I want the contact name to start with A, what I'll have to do is I'll just have to write A, and then I'll have to put a percentage there. Okay, and I will close the inverted comma, close the query, and then I will try to run this one, and let's see what happens. You see, in the contact name, now we have only those contact names which are starting with E. Okay, and now what if I want all the contact names whose names are, let's say, whose last letter of the name is O. Okay, like as you can see here, it is Anna Trujillo, right? So if I want to get all these names where the last letter of the name is O, how can I do that? So in that case, I will need to delete this, and I will need to put the percentage first, and then I will say O. Okay, and then if I try to run this one, and let's see what happens. So you see, now whatever names you see over here, okay, all the contact names that are like O, right? The last letter of the names are O. Okay, let's try to get some other examples as well. So it is like where name like this or and percent, so it is finding any values that have or in any position. Okay, so it is searching for any value. It is searching for any value that has the name that name contains or, right? So let's try to see what we can do in our data. So as you can see, I mean, in W3 school they are searching for OR, right? And let's try to search for something else. Let's say I want to search for NG in the contact name. Okay, so I want to search for the NG. So what I will do, between two percentages I will just put NG there. Okay, so let's try to do that. So we have the two percentages now, and in here I will just put NG in the contact name, and then let's try to this one. So that means wherever in the name it will find NG, it will give you. So you see, in the Chung we have NG, Wang we have NG, Wong we have NG, like that. Okay, so here also we should have NG. You see, in the Angel we have the NG, and then in here also we should have NG. You see, in here we have the NG. Okay, so this is how you can use the like operator in order to get some of the conditions like this. Okay, now let's try to find some other examples as well. So we have this where customer name like, okay, underscore R percentage. That means it will find any values that have R in the second position. Okay, so in order to get where, if the R is there in the second position, we need to put a underscore there, and then we need to put the percentage there. Okay, so let's try to do that. Let me try to run this one again, and let's see what we can do. Let's say the second name or the second letter can be N. Let's say. Okay, so what I want is the second letter to be 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will put underscore, and then I will take N, and then I will put a percentage. Okay, and that's what they're doing, right? percentage underscore r percentage. Okay, and let's try to run this one. Okay, so you see wherever in the contact name and in the second position we have n, those numbers or those values are given. Okay, now if you think that all this underscore, double underscore, percentage are really difficult to remember, there is a good news. Okay, so you can always rely on Google for this one. Okay, so let's say you don't have the W3 school and I give you a question about wherever the customer name is starting with A, you need to give those values. Okay, so what I will search for is select all the values or select all the names that start with a letter, that start with, let's say, A, let's start with A in SQL. Okay, and if I search for it and if I go to, let's say, this website comes up, which is gigs for gigs, and if I try to look for the solution over here, let's see how they have done it. So they are inserting some of the rows, select all from the department, and then you see what they are doing. You see what they are doing is select all from department where name like H. Okay. So in this example, what it is saying, in this example, we will find name starting with H. Okay. And that's what we want, right? We want all the names starting with a particular letter. So now what you can do, you can just copy this, okay, and you can paste it over here. So you don't need to remember all these things. You can always take help from ChatGPT and you can always take help from the Google as well. Okay, so in here I will just change the names, right? So where contact name in place of name like H, so I don't want H, I want, let's say, A or E. You can write it like this as well. Okay, and then in order to maintain the readability, I will try to break it down. Okay, that's it. And then let's try to run this one, and you see all the names that are starting with A in the contact name are given. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Okay, so similarly you can also try to use Google in order to search something else as well. Okay, if you want to let's say if you want to find something else, okay, let's say all the names that ends with a particular letter, you can also search that, right? How you can use the like operator in. So that's it for this video. See you in the next lecture.